So this video we are going to discuss on Phylum Arthropoda. This video we are going to learn the Phylum Arthropoda as per your syllabus. We'll be learning the characteristic features of Phylum Arthropoda, and then we'll be classifying the Phylum Arthropoda to classes. The 7 classes which we are supposed to learn, they are class Trilobita, class Merostomata, class Arachnida, class Chilopoda, class Diplopoda, class Crustacea, and class Insecta, with one or two examples each. Okay. Then we'll be learning about the type species, Phileas indicus, and its morphology, and the different systems in detail. Okay. So Phylum Arthropoda, what are the general features? If we are asked what are arthropods, arthropods can be defined as bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic, metamerically segmented animals with coelom reduced and modified to form hemocoel. The body being covered with a chitinous exoskeleton that molds periodically and with jointed appendages. So arthropods basically they are bilaterally symmetrical animals. Okay. Now, from the arthropoda, the term has come from two root words, the arthros and pods. Arthros refer to the joint, and the pod refer to foot. So it is actually jointed foot. Okay. As already mentioned, they are bilaterally symmetrical with tachmosis and well-developed civilization. What is tachmosis? Over here, these are the few representatives of Phylum Arthropoda. We can see lobsters, centipedes, scorpions, beetles coming under insects, flies coming under insects, ants coming under insects, crab, crustacea, spider, arachnida. So we have different kinds of arthropods over here. And in all these groups, you can see the body is divided into 3 colored regions, isn't it? Yes, the slight orange is head, then slightly yellowish green it is thorax, and blue it is abdomen. So in all these you can see the body is differentiated to 3 regions, right? It is head, thorax and abdomen. And this division of the body into head, thorax and abdomen, it is known as tachmosis. And each of this region is referred as tachmata. Okay, it is tachmata. So the division of the body into 3 definite regions, it is known as tachmosis. But in some organisms, we can see that the head and the thorax, it is fused together to form the cephalothorax. Okay, it may be fused or joined together to form the cephalothorax. Likewise, in some, it may be differentiated into prosoma and opistosoma, as in the case of spiders. So, such kind of different kinds of fusions and loose joining can be found in various groups under Phylum Arthropoda itself. So, whatever it is, here body is divided into 3 regions: the head, thorax, and abdomen in most of the cases. Okay. Then, basically, all the arthropods have evolved from ancestor which had 6 segments forming the head region, then 3 segments forming thorax region, and 11 segments the abdominal region. And the different arthropod groups seen what you can see in the slide, the different arthropod groups, they have evolved in various ways and in various manner. In some, for example, insects, the first 6 segments have fused together to form the head region, while the next 3 segments, they are not completely fused, but there are slight fusions to form the 3 thoracic segments, and abdomen we can see the 11 segments separate. So such kind of variable fusions and loose or tight joining can be found in the case of the arthropods. So that is what the tachmosis refer to. Regarding cephalization, you can see a definite head region and what we call supraesophageal ganglion, which forms the brain. So well-developed cephalization can be found here. Okay. Then the body, it is covered by an exoskeleton which is formed of chitinous cuticle. Cuticular exoskeleton, it is mainly of chitin, made up of chitin, and chitin, it is actually a polymer of N-acetylglycosamine, NAG. Okay, it is a polymer of N-acetylglycosamine, and that is a carbohydrate. Okay, it is unique to arthropods in the animal kingdom. Now, next one, it is actually the process of molting and ecdysis. What happens is the chitinous cuticle, it doesn't grow along with the growing arthropod. Okay, the arthropod may be growing along its life. You can see it grows in size. Okay, but that growth in size of the body, it is not what we call accompanied by the growth in the cuticle, exoskeleton. So what happens is, to continue with the growth incessantly, it may have to remove the outer exoskeletal covering. And that process of periodic removal of the cuticle and formation of a new cuticle, it is known as the molting or ecdysis. Okay. Now, as the names, we have already seen that in Arthropoda, the name has come from the two root words, which means jointed appendages. So obviously the appendages are jointed and it is segmentally paired. You can see all those appendages which project out. You can see they are all jointed, isn't it? They are all jointed. Even these structures, the antennae, all these are appendages in one way or the other. On the head regions, these appendages may get modified to form the mouth parts, may form the feelers or antennae or the sensory structures. Okay, on the thorax and then it may form the locomotory structures, but everywhere it is segmented. Okay, that is how the jointed appendages, the term has come. Now, the body cavity is hemocoel in the case of Arthropoda, and the true coelom, it is highly reduced and it is confined to spaces around the reproductive organs and the excretory organs. The digestive system, it is complete, mouth and anus lying at the opposite ends of the body, and these mouth parts, they are adapted for various modes of feeding depending upon its habit and habitat. Respiration, circulatory system, it is open type, open circulatory system with dorsal heart. Open circulatory system in the sense the blood flows through open spaces like sinuses and lacunae. Okay, respiration, it could be through general body surface, or there are definite respiratory structures like gills or branchiae, tracheae, book gills or book lungs, etc. Okay. Then true nephridia are absent and excretion is brought about by Malpighian tubules or green glands or coxal glands, right? And cilia are altogether absent. There are no locomotory cilia present. And then we can see the sexes are separate, but individuals, they show sexual dimorphism in several species. Okay, it is sexual dimorphism that is exhibited by many species in the arthropod group. Fertilization is internal and development is usually indirect. Indirect development in the sense it do have a larval stage in between, but it may be in every case, but there are plenty of species in Arthropoda which do have indirect development with well-defined larval stages. And even in some cases, you can see parental care well marked in many species of arthropods. And Arthropoda, it is the largest phylum of animal kingdom, and it constitutes of around 80% plus of all the known species, all the identified species are known. And among Arthropoda, it is the Insecta, the class which is most abundant and the largest among the classes. Okay, so that is about the phylum Arthropoda, the characteristics. Regarding the classification, phylum Arthropoda, it is divided into 5 subphylum, the first 5 subphylum. The subphylum Trilobitomorpha, subphylum Chelicerata, subphylum Myriapoda, subphylum Crustacea, and subphylum Hexapoda. So here we will just see the main characteristic features of the subphyla. Okay, further down the classification will be dealt in the next video. Subphylum Trilobitomorpha, the term has come from tri means 3, lobito, it referred to the lobe, and morpha form. Okay, so here the Trilobitomorpha, their body is divided into 3 lobes by way of longitudinal furrows. Okay, longitudinal in the sense the which extends from anterior to the posterior end. Okay, so Trilobitomorpha, the organisms belonging to Trilobitomorpha, has its body divided into 3 regions or 3 lobes by way of longitudinal furrows on their body. And the members belonging to this particular subphylum are all extinct. Only fossil trilobites are located. Okay. Now the next one we have is the subphylum Chelicerata. Chelicerata, the word has come from chele, which means claw, and cera, it comes from the word chiro, which means horn. Okay, so those members which do have clawed horns, which they are referred as Chelicerata. If you give an example, the best example is the spiders. Okay, so then it will be clear to you, isn't it? Chelicerata. Here the body is divisible into prosoma and epistosoma, or otherwise it is referred as cephalothorax and abdomen. Okay, and here the first pair of appendages, they are produced into, or they are formed into chelicerae. Okay, chelicerae, and these are preoral, that is it is placed before the mouth and it is feeding in function. So chelicerae, it is actually the chelicerae, it is the first pair of appendages, and the one which bears the chelicera, it is included under Chelicerata. Okay, so that is about the subphylum Chelicerata. The third subphylum, it is subphylum Myriapoda, and the subphylum Myriapoda, the term comes from the word myria and pod, which means podos. And these Myriapoda, it is actually includes, you can see the centipedes and millipedes. Okay. The subphylum Myriapoda, the term has come from 2 root words, that is myria and podos, which means many-legged ones. So you are familiar with millipedes and centipedes. They have plenty of joint legs on their body, isn't it? So see, there are plenty of legs on their body all along their lateral sides. So this is what has given them the name Myriapoda, which means many-legged. Okay. The next one we have is Crustacea. The Crustacea subphylum, which includes, you can see here, the crabs, lobsters, barnacles, then shrimps, prawns, etc. Okay, that is what the Crustacea include. The Crustacea, the name has come from the root word crusta, which means a hard shell. Okay, Crustacea, it comes from the root word crusta, where it means a hard shell. Right. Here, the head is fused with thorax to form the cephalothorax, and it is covered by a carapace, a hard covering dorsally by way of carapace. So we cannot differentiate head and thorax from the dorsal side. Okay, and they have the jointed appendages, and most of them are aquatic, as you can see here. That is the barnacles, the shrimps, the lobsters, the crabs, prawns, etc. All these are aquatic. Then we have is the subphylum Hexapoda. The term has come from 2 root words, the hexa, which means 6, and podos, which means leg. So it is 6-legged individuals, or 3 pairs of appendages are there in the hexapods. Okay, so these are the 5 subphyla.